Welcome back, everyone. So credit cards or debit cards, how are they alike? How are they different? And which one should you be using? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, we talk stock market, personal finance, real estate, and business. So please go ahead and subscribe now so you don't miss any content. Okay, so a debit card and a credit card basically look identical. They're both a small rectangular piece of plastic with a magnetic strip on the back that you can use to pay for things or services. They usually have a big 16-digit code and an expiration date, and pretty much everybody has one debit card and one credit card. But that's kind of where their similarities end right there. Every time you make a transaction with a debit card, that money is withdrawn from your checking account. So that is an example of money that you have already made. Every time you swipe your credit card, you are actually borrowing money you do not yet have that you now have to pay back. It is like every time you swipe your credit card, it is like taking out a small loan. Which one is better to use? Which one should you be using? And a quick answer is both. You need to use both for many different reasons. So guys, let's talk about rewards, okay? A credit card is going to offer you cash options and discounts and travel points and other perks a debit card is just not going to offer you, okay? And like sometimes you need a credit card to rent cars, and sometimes you need them to buy airplane tickets and things like that, and you're not given a debit option. So as far as rewards go and what you're getting back on the transaction, that advantage would actually have to go to credit cards. But let's talk about fees, okay? And the fees with a credit card can almost completely counter, if not make worse, if not used properly, the rewards they offer. So you've got annual fees, you've got over-limit fees, you have late payment fees, and of course, the big kicker, the one that seems to kill everybody, is the monthly interest you're charged if you don't pay your credit card off at the end of every month. Now with debit cards, the only real fee you're ever going to see is what they call an overdraft limit. And basically, guys, that's where you spend all of your money down to zero and then actually get into the negative where you have spent more money than you have. Your bank or financial institution will charge you an overdraft fee. However, if you keep your balance over $0, some banks maybe $5 or $10, I'm not exactly sure. My bank is 0, but if you keep your balance positive and do not spend under that, you will never incur any fees on a debit card. So this advantage definitely has to go to debit cards. Use them responsibly and you'll never see any fees. Now let's talk about credit building. You need credit to buy a house, you'll need credit to buy a car, and this advantage goes directly to credit cards. Using a debit card does not get reported to a credit bureau. You just swipe and you use the money you have. This does not help your credit at all. You can have all kinds of money and spend money all day long and it will not help or affect your credit whatsoever. But a credit card does, okay? So that's the big difference right there. Is when I went to buy my first house many years ago, my real estate agent kind of laughed me out of the room and she sent me home and told me, go home, order a credit card, and start using it every month and paying it off every month for an entire year. Because I didn't have any credit. I had 0 credit, and this is, a credit card offers you a very fast and convenient way to immediately start building credit, start getting into the system. Where again, a debit card does none of that. We are going tit for tat here, guys, because now let's talk about debt management. This advantage goes right back to debit cards, okay? Again, back to the start of my video, every time you use your credit card, you are creating a line of debt, which means you now have borrowed money from a company and you have to pay them back, where a debit card is just the money you make, the money you've already made that you can freely spend. The thing about this, guys, is where people get a little bit irresponsible and they, let's say, charge up $5,000 onto their credit card, and then they make that little $26 or $32 or whatever, minimum monthly payment, and it keeps getting hit by interest over and over and over and over. So $5,000 turns into $8,000, and then it turns to $10,000, and before you know it, you've paid $20,000 on a $5,000 loan. That's risky, that's scary, and it gets a lot of people in trouble. So again, with debt management, creating debt, that advantage goes to debit cards. And this last one really throws me for a loop, guys, is the liability and legal protection. And this advantage actually goes to credit cards, which kind of blows my mind, is that these companies are more willing to protect and stand beside money you do not have. Okay? This is a loan they're going to give you. They're more willing to protect that from from stolen items, or like I said, a legal standpoint. They're more willing to protect that than the banks are willing to protect the money you already have. So it's an interesting system. I've been used to this for so long now that I've just come to accept these things. But that's the way it works. There is more support for credit cards. As far as like a stolen credit card, it's easy to get that shut off. It's easy to get those charges removed. They'll send you out a new credit card. They'll get you all set up, and that's kind of painless. Where like with a debit card, you have to step by step usually walk through the process and hope somebody at your bank is going to help you. So when it comes to those type of things, the advantage goes back to credit card. So in conclusion, debit cards and credit cards should both be utilized for their respective benefits. And just remember, guys, the key with both is to use them responsibly and not get caught up in the fees and the difficulties that both of them can bring to the table. Is be responsible with your credit card and aim to pay it off at the end of every month. And don't be overdrafting on your checking account. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe and leave me some comments. And I thank you so much for watching my video, and have an awesome day.